Okay. So introducing Mary Long from CENMAC. Mary, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your work?
Yeah, hi. So I'm Mary from CENMAC. I'm going to hopefully cover a few things in this session. Can everyone see my screen okay?
I can.
Yeah, brilliant. If you can, that's fine. We'll go ahead. So we're going to cover an introduction to CENMAC, who we are, what we do, that sort of thing. And then we'll talk about the SET framework, which is what we use to assess and review the children and young people that we work with. I'm going to provide some short case studies on some of the children and young people that I work with personally, and then hear from some of the children and young people themselves on why they like to use the Dolphin EasyReader app. Okay, so I'll go straight in with what is CENMAC. So I think we're quite a unique service. We are an outreach and advisory service, but we also offer equipment loans to help pupils with any sort of disability. So and all ages as well, from 2 to 25. We support with their access to the curriculum or with their communication using assistive technology. The service itself has been around since the sort of mid 1960s and was initially set up by a group of OTs, occupational therapists. So they set it up to help students who were having physical difficulties with the writing process, and they used to lend people typewriters and such. So we've changed quite a lot and evolved a lot since then. I'm going to take you into our website now. And up here you can see a little bit about us. I would draw your attention really to the referrals process. So basically we have about 850 students on our books at the moment from all areas of London. It's the local authority who fund the service, but anyone can make a referral into the service. So we sometimes have referrals from speech and language therapists, from QTVIs, from parents, as well as the educational settings that we work with. If you go down here, there's a little bit more about understanding the referral process and how that all works. And our referral form is here. We also offer training ourselves. So every Thursday we have an online session, a Thursday 30 session, which is a free session. Anyone can join that. And it's an introduction to some of the technology that we use. And we also have our big events throughout the year. So we are just gearing up at the moment for the big TES show tomorrow and Saturday. So do come along and see us if you're visiting that. And also Communication Works, which is the big event that we run ourselves. We try to involve a lot of children and young people in that. So we've had students presenting themselves, and they'll come along and talk about the technology that they're using to help them with their learning. So definitely have a look at that and try and come along if you can. The tickets are already up. So if you go through and reserve a place, because I know there were some disappointed people last year who couldn't come along. Let's go back to my PowerPoint. Sorry, there's a bar in the way. Okay, so the team itself has grown quite a lot now. We're a big multidisciplinary team. I'll just take you into that. We have advisory teachers, we have speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, special complex needs consultants. It's quite a long list now of people that we have on board. And we do tend to work in a very multidisciplinary way. So as far as we can, we'll support each other and we'll go out on joint visits and things. And also with the other professionals working with the children and young people, we'll do joint visits with them as well. So that's a really nice way of working. And then when CENMAC comes to visit for the first time, we have a little guide. So for any students who are newly referred into our service, just open this one up. So we have it available as a printed booklet, or we have it available on screen like this. I'll just flick through some of the pages. So it tells you a little bit about assistive technology. It's a really nice sort of visual representation of what we do and the kind of things that we can help with. And this graphic here really demonstrates just in one sort of little nutshell what we do. So first of all, we have the referral that comes into us. someone from CENMAC comes out to meet the student and find out more about them. We work out the technology that might be best for them. We trial some technology, and then we implement the technology as well. So we're not going to just go in and hand it all over. We go in and provide all of the training, all of the follow-up visits that are needed to implement that. And then after 1 year, we'll go and do another review. And the nice thing about our service, because it's a loan service, we can just swap technology out as needed. So if something's not quite right, or if something different is needed, then we can swap that very quickly. So when we assess for the first time, we use something called the SET framework. And this was something that was developed by Joy Zabala, and it was introduced by her in 2005 as a really useful framework to use when you assess students for assistive technology use. So SET stands for the student, the environment, the tasks, and the tools. So we don't ever really look at one thing in isolation. It's, you know, an ongoing process, and we look at all of these aspects, but we'll always start with the student first. We're always very person-led, person-centered. So we find out about the student, find out about their strengths and their interests, things that are working, things that aren't working too well for them, and find out what they would like to achieve themselves as well. We look at the environment around them, whether there are things already in place that will help them, whether there might be any potential barriers for them. We look at their tasks and their targets, existing tools and support, so everything that's already in place for them. And then finally, we look at possible tools and support. So down in that section at the bottom is where we might start to recommend some of the hardware, some of the software, some of the apps that we might put in place. We're not affiliated to any particular software company or hardware companies. So that's another good thing about the service, is that we can recommend from lots of different areas and really find the thing that's most suited to the student themselves. So one of the things that we do recommend, and that I do recommend for students, is the Dolphin EasyReader app. And we're going to have a closer look at some of the students that I work with now. So student Y, she is in year 10. She has retinal dystrophy, a loss of her peripheral vision, hypermetropia, and astigmatism. She does wear glasses, but they don't fully correct her vision, and she's severely sight impaired. Her distance vision is 624, so that means that at 6 meters she can see what her fully sighted peers can see at 24 meters. So you can see she's got quite a difficulty there with her vision. And she was referred to us a couple of years ago for support with her independent access to learning. So I'll show you her SET framework just here. So again, at the top here, finding out all about her strengths, her interests, that sort of thing. I won't go into all of this detail, but one key thing to pick out, she's very good at history. She can remember lots of facts and figures and dates and things. She needs all of her written materials to be presented at a font size 24. Sometimes her learning materials are too small for her, and she struggles with this, and her learning support assistant sometimes helps her with her reading. Her targets and things that she identified that she wants to get better at. So she wants to get better at writing. She wants to use more complex language when she's writing, and she needs to develop her knowledge of common spelling patterns. And I believe really that the only way that she's going to get better at writing is through reading lots, because, you know, it's only there that you get the full experience and the range of different types and styles of writing. So we want to encourage her to read and to develop that. So her target here was to access her reading materials using technology. And in doing that, we actually set her up with a login to RNIB Bookshare, which is the online library that anyone can access. It's designed for anyone who has a print disability. So it could be, you know, someone with dyslexia or someone who has a physical disability as well, not just those with a vision impairment. So we have set that up for her, but it's really easy for anyone to set up. The important thing to remember, if you want to use the Dolphin EasyReader app, the books aren't in there automatically. You have to take them in from your RNIB Bookshare library. So you need to log in for that first of all. We provided the training and support for Y and for those working with her. And then we wanted her really to start accessing reading books and play scripts and things. Now, also with Y, because her vision is so bad, she can sometimes find it difficult to find her friends in the playground and to take part in those social experiences outside. So quite often she'll be involved in a lunchtime club, and what we thought was maybe to try and incorporate the use of Dolphin EasyReader with her lunchtime club as well. So she has a few friends that come in, and they've started up a little book club for them at lunchtimes, and they can take turns on the app to choose a book and listen to the book as they're sitting and chatting and enjoying their lunch together. So again, it's something that can support with other aspects as well, not just reading. It's supporting her with her social aspects and developing those friendships. So I'm going to go on to student TL, also in year 10, with a severe vision impairment. She has optic nerve hyperplasia. Basically her optic nerve was underdeveloped, and so she sees, she's got very blurry vision. It's very unclear. And she also has nystagmus. So this can get worse when she's tired, and she does find it difficult to keep her place on the page when she's reading. Her visual acuity is 6 out of 60, and she needs to be about 8 times closer than her peers in order to see things clearly. In her left eye, she has no vision at all, and her right eye is 6 out of 60. Okay. So here's her set framework. She prefers to have a font size 24 or above, and she needs enlarged reading books and visual curriculum materials before each lesson so that she's got those there and ready for her. She finds that large print books really help her. She likes to use technology. She likes to use the iPad. She likes using the Chromebook, the Connect. So she's got lots of different ways of accessing her learning and accessing her reading. Her Connect, she likes to use at home. Because she's finding now she's at secondary school, it's too heavy to carry around the place. So that's set up for her to use at home, and she can access EasyReader on that as well as her iPad at school. She likes to have a black background with white letters. She finds that works really well, and she prefers using touchscreen. One of her targets was to help increase her levels of independence. So this is another way that Dolphin EasyReader can help. So manipulate resources and make them more accessible. So for her, we again provided the individual logins for Dolphin EasyReader and RNIB Bookshare. Did lots of training and support, and we're teaching her how to change the background and the font colors to suit her vision herself. And this is her sort of demonstrating how she selects and downloads the books into her library. As you can see, she's got it set up with that black background and the white text there, and with the yellow highlighted words. I've got a little video of her choosing a book for you.
I want to read a book. I just want Dolphin EasyReader. I click here and I want to search up Diary of the Wimpy Kid. So what I do is go on my keyboard and type it up.
You can see she's really practicing her touch typing here as well. So she's using the correct fingers for each key.
So I press enter. And then here's all the Diary Wimpy books. So I'm gonna put this one. We have to tap download.
So it's as simple as that, really. You just go into the RNIB Bookshare, the library, search for the book that you want, and then hit download. So yeah, it's quite an easy process. And this is TL just talking a little bit more about why she likes the app, and you can see she'll explain in here about the highlighted words, and the way that she puts it is really nice.
Dolphin EasyReader is a very good app. It follows you around as you read. You can choose any book. It has a wide selection, and it can even read to you.
So you can see with her nystagmus, it's really important that she has that highlighted word while it's reading along, because you know, she finds it difficult to keep her focus on where the words are. And I just like the way she put it. It follows you around as you read. So yeah, she's really enjoying using it, and I think it is really helping her at the moment. So my next student, I'm actually going to do a couple of slides for him. So this was from last year when he was in year 6. He is severely sight impaired with congenital glaucoma, horizontal nystagmus, and photophobia. And he was referred to us for advice and support in accessing his learning independently. So in year 6, this is someone who's always had a love of reading, so we didn't really need to work too hard with getting him to, you know, be enthusiastic about reading and books. He absolutely loves reading. At the time, he was reading a lot of Enid Blyton books, but you'll see that in a later video. And he thought that it would be amazing to have a job where he reads books for a living. And at the time, he said he would love to read every book that's ever been published. So I mean, he's doing pretty well at the moment with that. He's working hard on that outcome. So his written resources are sometimes adapted to A3, but obviously that can make it difficult for students sometimes, because with a huge piece of A3 paper, you're still, you know, moving across from side to side, and it can get very tiring. So enlarging it onto a screen is much better for students like this. So his target was to search for books independently, access his reading materials using the Dolphin app. So again, we put in lots of training and support for him, allowed plenty of time for him to explore the app and become more confident in changing the settings himself, which is something that's really important, again, for all of these students to know how to do these things themselves and change the settings themselves. Because as they go through the day, they might find that their vision changes, their eyes might become more tired, they might start the day being able to read something in a particular font size, but by the end of the day their eyes are too tired and they want to rest them, so they want to listen instead. So it's really about giving them the power to make the changes and do all of that themselves. He's now in year 7. Still, obviously, all of the same things apply for him. He still loves to read, especially science fiction, and he's starting to get into reading more non-fiction, as you'll see in a moment. He's using his iPad really, really well. He absolutely loves downloading and reading the books, and he's now comfortable in changing all of the settings to suit his vision, making very good use of his iPad Pro. And so for him, what we're considering now, because his reading level is advanced and he's starting to read much longer texts, we're wondering whether a Braille device might be helpful to support him. So for those times when his eyes are too tired to read, for him to have access to EasyReader on a Braille device and use that method instead. So his target: to search for books independently, access his reading materials using the Dolphin EasyReader app on a Braille note device. So what we'll do, we have a Braille note device on order for him, and then we'll obviously go in and get that all set up with him and start him off on that. So this is Jay talking a little bit about why he likes the EasyReader app.
Tell me something that you really love about the EasyReader app.
Because I love reading, and with the EasyReader app, I can browse all sorts of like books and newspapers, and novels and encyclopedias.
What's your favourite book that you're reading at the moment?
At the moment, I'm interested in the Sherlock Holmes series. So it was helpful when I couldn't find a book in the library, where I just read it on the EasyReader.
Wonderful. And how's your Braille reading going?
I'm quite enjoying it, because when my eyes are tired, I can just like practice my Braille reading, because it rests my eyes and I'm like practicing a skill at the same time.
Yeah. And how would you think it would help you if you could access all of your EasyReader books via a Braille device?
I feel like that'd be quite helpful, because even if I was reading it with Braille in print, the books may be a bit longer and heavier. So if it was online, it wouldn't be heavy at all. It wouldn't weigh anything, and I'd be able to just pick it up, find my page, and just keep reading.
Excellent. So do you remember that big book that I sent to you once?
Oh yeah.
What was that one? Can you remember?
What was it?
Because
I remember the book, but
it was Enid
not,
Blyton
yeah.
one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And how many books was it? It was
like 3 or 4 in one.
it was like a whole big box full,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. So if you have like longer books to read now,
Yeah.
carrying around a whole box full of Braille books isn't going to be very easy. Yeah. Okay. Can you tell me anything else about the app that you like?
I like how I can like customize its settings because my eyes like dark mode better, and how with some other apps that I've used, like you can't change it from light mode to dark mode. So I like how I can change it from light mode to dark mode, and like it can read to.
Sorry about the abrupt ending there. I realized at the end that I had to cut it short because I used his name at the end. So you can see obviously Jay has got a good understanding of his preferences, and also he is a really good self-advocate for the kind of things that he likes to use, and why he likes to use them. My final student that I want to talk to you about is a slightly older student now. She is 21 years old. She has bilateral optic atrophy and right esotropia with myopia and astigmatism. She can struggle without support, and she needs lots of adaptations within class, and she was referred to CENMAC again for greater access to assistive technology and the support in using this. She enjoys reading, doesn't enjoy writing so much. So again, I would say reading, and that's the way in to support them with their writing. She has been really successful with her work experience. So last year she had a placement at a nursery, and she's been offered paid work by them now. So she's working a day a week at the nursery and really enjoying that and doing very, very well there. She needs all of her learning materials presented in enlarged font sizes, and she needs visual access to all of her written materials. Now, because she was working in the nursery, one way to develop her English skills and get her reading more and, you know, developing her writing as well, was to get her to use the app to download and find a selection of suitable children's books so that she can read those to the children at the nursery and then practice reading out loud, listening to the books, and then becoming really confident with a range of children's books that she can use. And then from that, we're hoping that she will go on to work on a project of writing her own short children's stories that she can use at the nursery as well. So this is student A. Excuse the big black blob in the middle here, but that is just where she had her student lanyard on and her name was visible. Okay, so I'll play this one for you.
What do you like about the EasyReader app?
Things I like about EasyReader app is that anybody with reading problems can use it, like people with vision problems, people with dyslexia, because it will help them read, and they can change the font and the colors and the background to see and change the text to have it more friendly to them.
And what kind of background colour and text do you like on the app? Can you show us?
I like when it's on a yellow background with black writing because it's more clearer for me.
And what are you planning to use the app for?
To help me read books to the children at work, and probably read books to myself.
Yeah, lovely. And the children that you work with, what sort of age are they?
2 years old.
Right, 2 years old. So you're going to be choosing some nice children books on there to read to them.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So that's student A, and she's, you know, again, very clearly expressed the preference that she likes the yellow background with the black writing because that's clear for her to see. So top tips when you're using something like this, I would say always start with something which is of interest to or is very motivating for the child or young person. So always find that way in, always find that thing that's going to hook them in and get them wanting to use the app, whether it's Enid Blyton or Sherlock Holmes or finding, you know, stories that they can read at the nursery. Make sure they always first have their login to the RNIB Bookshare library sorted. I'll just quickly show you that link. That is very easy to set up, and there's a guide here that you can follow that takes you through setting those up. Spend some time demonstrating and talking through all of the different text options. I think it's really important here to remind students that it's not just about picking their favorite color. So, you know, obviously you've got children who will just go straight in and go, I want a pink background. But it's not about that. It's about trialing it and working with them and finding which way is clearer for them to read, which one makes the text easier to see, which one makes it, you know, less of a strain on their eyes. And once you've done that, making sure they have the time available to explore the app themselves, and making sure that they understand how to make all of the changes themselves as well, as I mentioned earlier. And then lastly, keep all of the adults working with them informed about what's going on, so that if they're, you know, in a Latin lesson and they're accessing their Latin textbook on the EasyReader app, when the teacher says, now get your textbooks out, and they go to take out their iPad or their phone, that everyone's aware and that, you know, they know that they'll be accessing it on that device instead of through the print version. Okay, so I think I've sort of come to the end of the things that I wanted to share with you. Thank you everyone for listening. If you do want to contact me or have any follow-up questions at all, my contact details are on the screen there. And I can see there's a question that's on the question and answer here from Emma, asking how would I liaise with school IT departments? Yeah, very much. We do that all the time. So we have a big technical team at CENMAC. And we do as well as teachers. We're always in contact with the IT departments and making sure that things work with their systems as well. Okay, so
thank you, Mary. Any more questions on the CENMAC service? Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. So Mary, if you could release your screen, and then I'll have a little chat about the. Thank you very much. Super, thank you. So I'm Jane Brassington and I'm with Dolphin Computer Access, and we are the makers of the EasyReader app that Mary's been talking about that's been helping her students. The app is completely free. And access to Bookshare is also free. So this is a free service that, that Dolphin have prepared. I do want to talk to you today about some added services that are available for schools, which are not free but are very low cost, and that will enable your students to synchronise their reading material between different devices, maybe at home and at school, which makes their learning a little easier. What I'd like to do first is just quickly share with you my screen, and just moving on from what Mary was saying about the RNIB Bookshare setup. So if I just share my screen, I hope you can see the screen there. Okay. So this is the next screen. So once you've created your RNIB Bookshare account as a teacher, you have the ability to set up different members within your organisation, and so you can add your learners to a list, and then you can allocate them reading lists, and those reading lists will also then appear on your EasyReader device, whether that be your iPad or your smartphone, or even your Windows application if you're using a laptop. So the purpose of this session isn't to go through how you do that, but there are videos available on that link that we shared earlier on how to do that. But I think it's just worth knowing that you can, as well as letting the children choose reading for themselves and that young people choose their own reading, you can also set reading lists for them if you're following a particular course, or if you find, let's say, a revision guide or a text or something that you think will be useful for them to use, you can pop that in the reading list and then it will appear on their smartphone for them. So what I'm going to do now is switch to EasyReader. So I hope you can see that too. So this is the interface for EasyReader for Windows. So this will be available on any Windows device. For those students that are using the Supernova Magnifier and Screen Reader or the Supernova Magnifier and Speech software, it's also available from the Media tab within that. So you can see here I've got my books. So these might be books that I've chosen. If I go to RNIB Bookshare, these are my reading lists that have been assigned by my teacher. So I've got KS3 revision, for example, and I've also got assigned books. Those are the revision guides that have been assigned to me. So I can download that here. And I'm downloading this onto my device, downloading it onto my laptop. And I can start working on that there once it's downloaded. So I can carry on working in the background and go to my books. So there it is downloading there. You can see it coming through quite quickly. I can also open one that I've been looking at earlier. There's another one. It can be downloading in the background as well. So while those are downloading, you can also see I've also got access to Google Classroom and Microsoft Education. So if your school is using Google Classroom, teachers can also assign worksheets, handouts there. Now, this particular feature is something that's not in the free app. This is something that's in the service, the EasyReader Premium service that I wanted to introduce to you. So the service is something that it costs, I think it's approximately £10 per student per year for the school. If you have a larger number of students, the price per student goes down. So if I was to upload something in Google Classroom, my EasyReader students, so the students using EasyReader can here. So I'll just log into there now. No, that's the wrong one, sorry. Go back. That one. There you go, now go back to EasyReader. And there is my little PDF handout on Lenny and George that my teacher set for me for homework. And I can open that there. So just as we said before, so we can read the text with the TTS, we can change the colours and the fonts, we can make it comfortable. This is a PDF, so I can switch to text view. And I can switch back to the PDF. So for students who find the visual settings unnecessary or overcomplicated, they can switch to a text view. Again, that's a feature of the premium software. Okay, so if I come back to my library again, my books. So the other thing I can do as I'm reading, I can set bookmarks. So this is a bookmark that I set earlier, and in my navigation, I can set a bookmark. So this might be interesting to me about Lenny and the size of his big paw, because that describes him, you know, like an animal, and it's important for me to reference in my homework when I'm writing my essay. So I've made a little bookmark there, and then when I can start reading here. Now that is the automatic voice that comes with the device. When I've got the premium account, I can also upload, I can improve the quality of that voice. So if we just move this window out of the way. When I've got the premium account, I've got this new button here, add voices, and I can add higher quality voices. So let's maybe the Kate voice there. That's already installed, okay. So I can switch to the premium voices. So we can do. So it's a bit more comfortable to listen to in terms of the audio. And again, we talked about making the colours different, so we can do high contrast. We can change the font. You might want to change it to a dyslexic font, for example, to make it more comfortable to read. Okay. Okay, so when I close that, what I'm going to do now is stop sharing. And I'm going to switch camera, and I'm going to show you another device. Give me a moment. There we go. So here I've got the same application, but this time on an iPad. And if I go here, the same application, but this time on a an Android phone. And you'll notice as I refresh there, that sheet that I was reading earlier, the George and Lenny handout sheet that I had from class, has popped up into the top of my list here. And if I go back to my books here and refresh there, it's popped up there as well. Okay, so I've pressed too many buttons there. There we go. So now if I start reading my Mice and Men on my phone.
Flashes. Rings widened across the pull to the other side.
So you'll notice it's popped up at the place that I was reading previously. So if I start reading at home,
and came back again.
And maybe I'll get to the next chapter with my reading at home, or I can jump to a particular page. So that's page 19. Start reading there.
Quickly and searchingly at him.
Okay, so when I close the application, it will sync back to the server. And it does take a couple of minutes, but it will sync back to server so that when I come back into school and come back to my application, it will start reading from the place that I finished reading last time I closed the application. So if I'm working in school, finish my homework, close down my laptop, go home, pick up my iPad or pick up my phone, it will sync and start reading at that point. And it will also pick up, if I go to Mice and Men here, so if I close the application on my phone, and I go to the bookmarks here, you'll see the bookmark there that I loaded is on the iPad. And then if I come back to the Windows application on my laptop, you'll see the same thing. So it means that students can move between different devices, between home and school, and synchronize that information. So as well as synchronizing the bookmarks and the settings, you've got the high quality voices, and then you've also got access, as we said before, to Google Classroom. So I need to sign, each time you'll need to sign into Google Classroom, so that'd be the same thing again. So if I sign in again with the same account, there you go, I've got access to Mrs. Jones's English lesson on George and Lenny, and you'll notice it's saved my reading position, even though it's not downloaded yet once I open it. There it is. So the black shapeless hat that we were looking at earlier, it saved that reading position. Okay, so it's just synchronizing the worksheets, and you will find on the RNIB website there's some really useful resources, and I'm sure CENMAC and Mary have got some useful resources as well that you can share in handouts. You can put them into your shared folders on Google Classroom or Microsoft Education. So the other thing I wanted to mention to you, if I just switch back to the website again, so I'll stop sharing. I'll come back to screen share. Hopefully you can see that now. So on the Dolphin website, you can set up as a teacher a Dolphin account, and you can set up an EasyReader Premium subscription status. So you would create an account with your school email address, and on request from Dolphin, we would send you an unlock code that unlocks this premium subscription status. And then here you can add your learners. So this will enable your learners who haven't, either those who already have EasyReader or those who haven't yet got EasyReader, to benefit from that synchronization between devices, to benefit from the high quality voices, and also to get access to those shared drives on Microsoft Education or Google Classroom. So you can add a username here. You can create a student login, and that will enable them to log into the app without using their own email address. So they can just log in using the code that you've given them. If they've already got EasyReader and they've already got their own login, you can share a code with them, and that will enable them to get access to those premium features, either by typing in the code, or you can print off a picture of the QR code and leave it on the library door at school, and they can take a picture of that and get the premium service on their phone, on their laptop, and on their iPad. Or you can also, if I just go back a step there. Sorry, the website's being a little slow today. You can also register the whole school domain. So if you are here, if you are serving, maybe you've got a large school with a large number of maybe dyslexic students, or a mix of print impairments, you can register the whole school domain so that the students can log in with their school email address and get access to those premium features. Now, you might find that not all the students who use EasyReader are eligible for RNIB Bookshare. So they're only going to be eligible if they've got a print impairment that you've signed them up for. But there might be students who still benefit, maybe students who have English as a second language. They might still benefit from being able to listen to the classroom handouts that you've put into Google Classroom. And also, you can also save clipboard texts. So you can copy and paste stuff from the internet and save it in your clipboard text. So, for example, if you're doing cooking at school, you can copy and paste the recipe that you're going to work on and have that appear at home with you, so you know what ingredients you have to take back into school next day, that kind of thing. Okay, so are there any questions? I can see there's a couple of comments in there. Okay. Come back then. So are there any questions about the EasyReader service, premium service? So I can't see anything in the chat at the moment, so Mark's telling me the sound didn't play, sorry about that. Okay, so just to summarize then, so the EasyReader app is free of charge. On it, you can log into RNIB Bookshare and get access to accessible books from the curriculum. All the students can have EasyReader free of charge, but they need to be registered with RNIB Bookshare to get access to the RNIB library. As a school, as a teacher, you can use RNIB Bookshare to allocate reading lists, as well as allowing students to find their own books. And if as a school, or if as a teacher, you set up an EasyReader premium account, it is a small charge, but it does then allow your students to synchronize their reading, synchronize their notes and their bookmarks and their settings between their different devices, between home and school. And it also gives them access to those premium voices and the shared cloud drives that you might be using at school. So we would love to offer you, if you're participating in this webinar, we'd love to offer you a trial of the EasyReader premium service. So if you would like to, if you're interested in trying it out, if you email us afterwards, we'll be very glad to share a 2-month trial with you. We'll give you an unlock code so you can try it out with your students, and then let us know how you get on with that. There is training available on our website, and some training videos which we'll share again afterwards with you. Got something in the Q&A. Oh, somebody's leaving. Okay. Okay, so Mary, is there anything else that you wanted to add at the end of our session today?
No, I don't think so. Just to reiterate, you know, if people do want to contact me, then you've got my email address now, so feel free. And it was lovely to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's really, really fascinating to see all the different variety of students that you're helping. It's really, really pleasing to see. Thank you.